by Jimmy Quick, Part 1. In the beginning, there was nothing except God. On day one, God's Spirit moved through the void. Then God spoke, "Let there be light." On day two, then God separated the waters of the nothingness into the moisture and clouds of the sky above and the drops and waves of the ocean below. God named the sky heavens. On day three, God named the lower waters the sea. He gathered together the waters of the sea, exposing dry ground. He named the dry land earth. On this land, he made grass and flowers and trees. He made them with seeds so they could grow more grass and flowers and trees. The fruitful earth was a place of beauty. And God knew that it was good. On day four, then God fashioned the sun, the moon, and the stars to light the earth, and he set them in the heavens to mark the days, season, and years. On day five, God said, "Let the water be filled with living creatures, and the seas and rivers swarmed with whales and fish." God said, "Let birds fly through the sky," and the open sky above the earth was filled with every kind of flying bird. "Be fruitful and fill the earth," God said, as he blessed the living creatures of the sea and sky. And God knew that it was good. Day 6, then God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures." And God made all kinds of animals, wild ones, tame ones, even those that crawl on the ground. Then God created the first man, Adam, and the first woman, Eve. They were the greatest of all of God's creations because he made them in his own image, to be a reflection of what he is like. God made Adam and Eve with souls that would live forever, and he planned for people to rule and live in harmony with every living thing on earth. God looked at everything that he made, and he knew it was all very, very good. On day 7, and on the seventh day, God rested. God showed Adam and Eve the beauty and fruitfulness of the garden they lived in. He told them, "You may eat from every tree except one, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. If you eat from that tree, you will die." Tempted in the garden. "Look, Adam, the little bird comes when I call." God is good to us. He has given us everything. Hello, code. "Everything except fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Yes, that is forbidden." But Eve wonders, and one day she goes to the tree and gazes at the forbidden fruit. Some beautiful illustrations in this. Satan, in the form of a serpent, tempts Eve. "Are you sure God said not to eat this fruit?" "Oh, yes. If we even touch it, we'll die." "Oh, you won't die if you touch it. See? And if you eat it, you will be wise like God." "You're right. And if this fruit will make me wise, surely there's no harm in taking just one bite." "Adam, it tastes delicious." "And it will make you wise." But the forbidden fruit was far different effects than the serpent promised. Suddenly, Adam and Eve realized they have disobeyed God. Their innocence is taken away as well. "We're not wise, we're just naked. Cover yourself with these leaves, we must hide." In the stillness of the garden, God comes to Adam and Eve. "How did you know you were naked? Have you eaten the fruit I told you not to eat? I only ate it because the woman you gave me handed it to me. The serpent you created tricked me. Because you disobeyed me, you must leave this beautiful garden. From now on, you'll have to work hard to survive." God makes clothes for Adam and Eve out of animal skins and sends them away. Look, a flaming sword blocks the entrance to the garden. We can never go back now. Where can we go? What can we do? God's promise of salvation. The perfect unity between God and his beloved creation is now broken for all time. Adam and Eve are forced to create a new life out of their knowledge and shame. But already, God has a plan to redeem his creation. God promises that one day he will send a savior for his people. Brothers' blood cry. Outside of the Garden of Eden, the land is barren, hot and dry. Weary, alone, and frightened, Adam and Eve search until they find a place to make a home. Remember how beautiful Eden was? If only. It is our own fault for disobeying God, but it will teach our children to obey and love God. If I can help it, they won't repeat our mistake. So Adam teaches their sons, Cain and Abel, about God. God made the earth and everything we have. God even gave me my little lamb. Sheep are dumb. How can I thank him? When you're older, Abel, you can give God the best of your flock. He told us we should make sacrifices to show our thankfulness. As the boys grew to manhood, Abel plans for the day when he can give his thanks offering to God. But Cain thinks only of his crops. If Abel gives God a sacrifice, I'll have to offer one too. God is pleased with Abel's gift, but Cain's grudging spirit displeases God. Why should God be happy with Abel and not with me? It's not fair. As long as Abel is around, he'll always be the favorite. God told me I could choose to have power over my son, but I'd rather choose not to have a brother. Cain gives in to his jealousy and kills his brother. Now I just need to pretend I don't know anything about Abel's death. Hello, monkey. But God calls out to Cain. Cain, where is your brother? I don't know. Am I supposed to keep track of my brother? He knows. Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. From now on, the ground will yield no fruit for you, and you will wander the earth until your death. Please, God, this punishment is more than I can take. God's sentence is carried out. Cain flees to a land called Nod. Eventually, he will get married, start a family, and build the first city, which he will name for his son, Enoch. But in the meantime, Adam and Eve are heartbroken over losing both of their sons. Our house is so empty now, Adam. Will we always be alone like this? We brought this tragedy on ourselves. So did Cain. But God has been good to us. Let's ask him to help us now. In time, God gives Adam and Eve a third son. We'll call him Seth. And we'll teach him to obey God the way Abel did. Seth learns to obey God. Two of his descendants are Enoch and walked with God, and Methuselah, who died at the age of 969, the oldest person who ever lived. As generations pass, however, people turn away from God. They lie, cheat, and murder. They worship the sun and the moon and the stars, and they bow down before idols. But there is one man, Noah, who looks on the sinfulness of the world with fear. How long will God allow his wickedness to continue, this wickedness? Rainy days. Your wickedness cannot continue. Turn away from your idol worship. Return to God who created you and give us everything we have. God didn't give me everything I have. I stole it. Ha! Noah thinks he's better than everyone else. Noah remains true to God. One day, God speaks to him. I'm sorry that I ever made humans. They are corrupt and violent, so I'm going to destroy them, Noah. You have been faithful. Build yourself a ship, because I am going to flood the whole earth. Noah obeys and begins building an ark. He follows the instructions that God gives him. That crazy Noah thinks he can float a boat on dry land. What will he think of next? When the ark is finished, God tells Noah to take 7 pairs of each kind of animal and bird that is used for food, and 1 pair of each kind that is not used for food. Noah and his family entered the ark. Hello, the lily. Now I've seen everything. Old Noah spent 120 years building that huge ship, but he never thought about who would close the door. Either he's crazy or he knows something we don't. Don't you start preaching like Noah. A few days later, the windows of heaven open and the rains pour down. Floodwaters rise rapidly. Maybe Noah was right about his ark. Don't worry, there's never been enough water here to float a boat before. Yes, but it's also never rained like this before. Look, the door of Noah's ark is closing, but who is shutting it? Could it be Noah's God? But it is too late. The people who have spent their lives rejecting God now see that God has finally rejected them. The rains pour steadily for 40 days and 40 nights. Water flows over the land and rises above the mountains. All the earth is covered. Only Noah's great ark survives. The flood destroys everything evil. Meanwhile, as the rain pours steadily outside the ark, Noah and his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives tend to the animals inside the ark. Have you fed the animals yet today? I fed the cows and sheep, and now I'm heading to feed the reptiles. And I am off to clean up after the cows and sheep, and then the reptiles. Father, I am glad that God has provided us and all of us his animals. There is much work to be done inside the ark. Noah and his family work together to care for everything. God is with us, and he will continue to provide for us. God has provided well for us. There has been so much rain. I am thankful to be safe here. One day the rain stops, but the ark still floats above the flooded earth. Land is nowhere in sight. Beautiful illustrations. A rainbow promise. Month after month, Noah's family waits. We've been in this ark for 6 months now. When will we ever see land again? It could be another 6 months. And what will we find when we get out? Finally, the water level begins to drop. The ark comes to a rest on top of the mountains of Ararat. I'll send out a dove, and if it doesn't come back, we'll know it has found land. The dove disappears from sight. Noah watches the skies. Long after hours swirling through the sky, the dove returns. A few days later, Noah again sounds out a dove, and it returns. An olive branch. This means some land must be dry again. 7 days later, Noah sends out a dove for the 3rd time. This time, the bird does not return. It has found a place to nest. Noah and his family are anxious to leave the ark. They look every day for signs of dry land. Look! A little over a year after the flood started, Noah steps out onto dry land once more. Only 8 people have survived the flood. Noah, his wife, their 3 kids, and their sons' wives. The warm sun on my face, the grass under my feet, it feels wonderful. Everything evil is gone. Through us, God is giving human beings a new start. We must obey God and teach everyone who follows us to obey. Oh, ground, how I've missed you. The first thing Noah does is build an altar. He thanks God for his care and asks God's guidance to help the family make a new start. Then God makes a new wonder in the sky. A rainbow. For as long as the earth lasts, there will be a time to plant and a time to harvest. There will always be a summer and winter, day and night, but never again will God flood, destroy the whole earth. It's beautiful. God is good. Whenever people see a rainbow, they'll remember God's promise that a flood will never destroy the whole earth again. In the years after the flood, Noah's sons Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their families moved down to the river valleys. Their families grow larger. In time, the mountains and plains are dotted with the tents of shepherd tribesmen, in the rich river valleys with grown cities. A babbling tower. As people from the cities work together, they become proud of their things they can build. They even dream of building a great tower. We'll build a tower high enough to reach heaven. It will make us famous and powerful. A tower that will reach the heaven we rule. People can see it for miles in times of danger. We'll rally our forces around it. No one is going to conquer and scatter us. With this tower, we'll be invincible. But God is displeased with the people's quest for fame and power. To stop their work on the tower, he causes the people to speak in different languages. You're talking gibberish. How can I work with a man I can't understand? Because they cannot understand each other, the builders are confused. They stop working on the tower one by one. Families who speak the same language move away. The giant tower called Babel begins to crumble. Different civilizations spring up, speaking different languages, and soon the tower is completely forgotten. God's wager, based on Job. In a distant land, Job, a man who loves God, has everything he needs. He has 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, 500 donkeys, and servants to take care of all his needs. He also has a wonderful family, a wife, 7 sons, and 3 daughters. The Lord has blessed me to overflowing. Up in heaven, God is proud of his righteous servant, but Satan hates to see such a happy ending. Job only worships you because you make sure nothing bad happens to him. If you didn't give him such riches and blessings, he will turn from you in an instant and curse your name. You think so? Very well. You may test him, take away his blessings, but do not hurt him. Satan wastes no time in striking Job with catastrophe. One day, a messenger comes to Job. The Sabaeans attacked. They stole the oxen and donkeys and killed the people working in their fields. I'm the only one who escaped. That same moment, another messenger arrives. Lightning struck the sheep and shepherds. They're all dead. I'm the only one who escaped. Then a third messenger comes. Chaldeans raided the camels and killed the camel drivers. I'm the only one who escaped. Yet another messenger arrives with bad news. Your oldest son's house has collapsed, killing all of your children. I'm the only one who escaped. Job is saddened by the loss of his property and livestock, but he is devastated at the death of his children. He shaves off all his hair in grief and rips his clothes to tatters, but he does not blame God for this misfortune. I came into the world with nothing, and I will leave it with nothing. God gave, and God took away. Praise be to God. See, Satan, he's a better man than you thought. Well, sure, since I didn't do anything to him or his health, but no one praises God when they're sick. So you think, ruin his health, if you think that will have any effect on this righteous man, but do not kill him. Satan immediately returns to the earth and strikes Job with terrible open sores from head to foot. He curses Job with insomnia, and when Job does not sleep, Satan terrifies him with nightmares. Job can't keep his food down and loses so much weight, he can hardly move. Still, Job does not complain, but his wife, everything we owned and everything we loved is gone. Surely this disease will kill you. You should just curse God and die. Job looks at his wife out of painful, blurred eyelids. Don't be a fool. We cannot accept the good things from God without also accepting the bad. When Job's friends hear about his troubles, they come to sit with him by the garbage dump at the edge of town. The disease has affected Job so strongly, his friends almost don't even recognize him. For 7 days, no one speaks. They just sit together with their friend. Finally, after a week, Job breaks out with a cry of grief. I have done nothing wrong. Why is God letting all these terrible things happen to me? Eliphaz is shocked at Job's harsh question. Now, don't get upset, Job. But from everything I've seen, God doesn't punish innocent people. You must have done something wrong. But I haven't sinned. And even if I have, God knows my heart and would forgive me. But Bildad is not convinced. It sounds like you're blaming God for being unfair. Job, I'm sorry, but if your kids were killed, it's because they must have deserved it. You have a chance to confess your sins. You should take it. I would confess my sins if God would come and tell me what I have done wrong. Job's insistent that he is innocent offends his third friend, Zophar. You windbag. You don't know anything about God. You stubbornly insist that you have done no wrong when the only thing that can save you is to apologize to God for your sins. Some friend you are. You don't not comfort me at the worst time of my life. You think you speak for God? I only wish he would come speak for himself. Even if he killed me, I would trust in him. Even as Job speaks, God suddenly comes to him in a storm. Stand up on your feet like a man. I will question you, Job, and you will answer me. You think you know so much, Job? Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Have you ever commanded the morning to come? Do you show the sun where to rise? Can you untie the ropes that hold the stars together? Can you rule over the magnificent creatures I have created? I am in charge in the universe. I am in charge of everything that exists. You cannot understand my ways. You cannot know the greater good I desire for you. Your place is simply to trust me. In reply to God's speech, Job falls to his knees. I spoke about things I didn't understand. Forgive me. After this, God heals Job. He gives him twice as many animals he had lost, and he gives him 10 more children. Job lives for a long time after all of this. God calls Abram. Many years pass. People forget about the God who created them. They move down the Euphrates River and build the great trading city of Ur. Ur is a land of plenty, with plenty of different gods. But the one true God speaks to a young man named Abram. Sarai, God has spoken to me. He said to leave my father's family, my country, and the false gods of Ur behind me. He said to travel to a land that will show me. There he will make our family a great nation, and all the people on earth will be blessed through me. Abram, why are you out here in the middle of the night? It will be scary to leave everything we know and our family, but we will trust the Lord to keep his promises. How do you think your father will take the news? Abram can't leave me behind in my old age. And Lot, you're his nephew. Since your father is dead, it's Abram's responsibility to take care of you too. We're going with him. Abram obeys God by leaving Ur, but he disobeys by not leaving his old life behind. His father, Terah, comes along, bringing his many idols with him. Seriously, Abram, it's better to worship all the gods. That way you don't offend one by leaving him out. Worshipping other gods offends the only true God. So you're saying he's selfish? God leads Terah, Abram, and the rest of their families to the rich land of Haran. Even though the land is beautiful and fertile, God does not want them to settle there. But Terah loves his new land and wants to retire there. Out of respect for his father, Abram stays in Haran, putting off his pursuit of God's promises. One day, Terah dies. Abram is now the head of the tribe. He immediately takes charge. Load up the animals. What are your plans for the tribe, master? God has called me to take my family and leave Haran. I will continue to seek his promised land. I'm with you, Uncle Abram. Abram leads his tribe through the surrounding lands. In several years, and his extended family lived the life of wandering nomads. But then a famine sweeps through the land. Abram doesn't have enough food to support his tribe. He decides his only choice is to lead his people to Egypt, a powerful nation with plenty of food. But he has some fears about his plan. Sarai, you are the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. I'm afraid that when Pharaoh sees you, he will fall in love with you. Since I'm your husband, he'll kill me so that he can marry you. We must pretend to be brother and sister. That sounds very unlikely, but I'll do what you ask. But Abram's prediction comes true. Pharaoh falls for Sarai's loveliness. Thinking Abram is her brother, Pharaoh gives him lots of money and gifts and asks Sarai to be his wife. God strikes the Egyptians with disease, so they will let Abram and Sarai go in peace. They give Abram food and money and send him and his family on their way. Thankful for their close escape, Abram and Sarai realize how foolish their plan was. Sarai, forgive me. I did not seek God's help. I was a coward and trusted in my own plots to save us. I forgive you, my husband. From now on, I will trust God. I can only pray that he forgives me. I'm sure God forgives you, Abram. After all, he protected us in Egypt, even when we forgot to trust him. I'll never try to outsmart God's plan for us again. I just hope this is the last time I have to pretend to be your sister. A lot is too much. Abram has left Egypt with great wealth, but this blessing from Egypt turns out to be a curse in disguise. Now that the tribe has tasted wealth, their old ways don't seem so great. Your nephew Lot is commenting that his family should get first choice of the riches from Egypt. In spite of the disagreement, Abram and Lot both prosper, and their flocks increase. Then the fighting spreads to their workers. Make room for Lot's sheep. No, Abram is the chief. His flocks come first. When Abram hears of the quarrels, he knows what he must do something. This time, Sarai, I'll handle this the way I think God would want me to. I am afraid that we must let Lot go his own way. If you are trusting the Lord, your plan cannot fail. The next day, Abram seeks out his nephew. Come with me, Lot. I have a solution to our problem. Look, God's promised land is huge. Choose where you'd like to live, and I'll take what is left. That's very generous of you, Uncle. I'll take the valley near the city of Sodom. Rescue mission. After the families separate, time passes, and a great battle ensues. 5 kings work together to defeat Sodom, where Lot prospers. Lot is kidnapped, along with his entire family. Abram, your nephew has been taken along with all of the people and their possessions. Abram gathers all his men and goes in pursuit of Lot. He rescues everyone. King Melchizedek came and blessed Abram. Blessed be God who helped you defeat your enemies. Abram proceeds to give Melchizedek a portion of tithe of all that he has. However, when the king of Sodom turns to give some back to Abram, I made a promise to God that I will take nothing from you. other than what my men have eaten, then you can never say that you made me rich. This is a map of Lot's adventure. The root of the kings, the root of Lot, and the root of Abram. Insufficient sons. Many years pass. Abram and Sarai are now old. They have no children, but God repeats his promise. You will have more descendants than there are stars in the heavens. As a sign of his promise, God changes Abram's name to Abraham, which means father of many. God also changes Sarai's name to Sarah, which means princess, because she would be the mother of nations. But Sarah, is too old to have children. Without any sons, how could Abraham's descendants be as numberless as the stars? Maybe God just means you will have children and not me. You should take my servant Hagar as a wife. She might have a son for me. God has promised me an heir. Perhaps this is the way. Sarah approaches Hagar with her idea to speed up God's plan. Yes, I will do as you ask. Hagar, we are ready to have a son, but I am unable to give one to Abraham. I want you to go to him. Remember, when you have a son, I will adopt him. The relationship between Sarah and Hagar changes after Hagar learns she is going to have a baby. Sarah begins to mistreat Hagar, so she decides to run away. Hagar, where have you been and where are you going? I'm running away from Sarah. Go back and listen to Sarah. You will have a son, and you are to name him Ishmael. The Lord has heard your sadness. You see me for who I am? Hagar returns and has a son. Together with Abraham, she names him Ishmael. As Hagar's son Ishmael grows to boyhood, he is the center of attention. Throughout the camp, both women take pride in him, but in her heart, Sarah knows that Ishmael isn't really hers. The trouble between Hagar and Sarah grows. Someday my son will rule this whole tribe. Hagar gets more sure of herself every day. Abraham worries about the trouble in his camp. One day while he is resting and thinking about Ishmael, Hagar and Sarah, he looks up. 3 strangers approach Abraham's camp. He greets them and invites them to rest and eat with them. While they are eating, one of the strangers gives Abraham surprising news. Your wife Sarah will have a son. I am too old to have children now. When the strangers leave, Abraham walks with them for a while. That city of Sodom is so wicked that God will have to destroy it. These must be messengers from God. They are talking about the place where Lot lives. Abraham pleads to God to save Sodom. Would you really destroy the righteous along with the wicked? What if there are even 50 good people in that city? Do they deserve to be destroyed? God agrees to save Sodom for the sake of 50 good men, but Abraham continues to bargain with God. What if there are 30 good men? Finally, he gets God to promise that the city will be saved even if there are only 10 good men in it. Destruction of Sodom. Meanwhile, 2 of the angels have reached Sodom. Abraham's nephew Lot welcomes them. You are strangers here. Come, stay at my home. No, it's okay. We'll spend the night out here. Trust me, the square is not safe. There's something strange about those 2 men. They're not from here, and probably rich. Let's rob them and teach them a lesson. Later that night, the evil men gather a crowd and surround Lot's house. Those strangers, let us have them. No, don't do this wicked thing. Well, we'll do worse things to you, Lot, if you don't send them out. Just as the mob reaches out for Lot, the 2 strangers pull him inside and bolt the door. Break down the door. Let's get him. Outside Lot's house in Sodom, the mob goes wild. As the men push against Lot's door, the angels, showing their power, strike the rioters blind. Help, I can't see. My eyes, who hit me? Inside Lot's house. There are no righteous people left in this town. Run for your lives. The Lord sent us to destroy the sinful city. My family, I must save them. But Lot's sons-in-law only laugh when he tries to warn them. They refuse to leave the doomed city. So early, the next morning, the two angels lead Lot, his wife, and their 2 daughters away. Suddenly, all Sodom bursts into flame. Don't look back at the city, or you will also die. But it's the only home I've ever known. Lot's wife stops and looks back longingly. Instantly, she is turned into a pillar of salt. Only Lot and his 2 daughters escape God's punishment. Early the next morning, Abraham goes to the hilltop to worship and sees the thick smoke rising from the ruins of the wicked city. As surely as night follows day, destruction follows sin. O God, help me lead my people in the path of righteousness. Too many sons. After destruction of Sodom, Abraham decides to move to a new place. He leads his growing clan to the Negev region near the desert. The angels who visited Abraham have told him Sarah would have a son. 1 year later, the prediction comes true. Who would have thought that I would have a son? I'm too old, but I'm holding my baby in my arms. I'll never doubt God's promise again. Abraham has named his son Isaac. What will become of Ishmael, his first son? He might have become our ruler, but now the baby Isaac will be next in line after Abraham. I'm sure it won't be a problem. Tension grows between Sarah and Hagar over their sons at baby Isaac's first feast. Ha! Look how clumsy little Isaac is. Ishmael, be quiet. Sarah is angry. What should we do about Ishmael? Hagar's son can't make fun of mine. Abraham, you must send Ishmael and Hagar away before they cause real trouble in the tribe. Night after night, Abraham asks God how to solve this family problem. Finally, God answers him. Do what Sarah says, because I will fulfill my promise through Isaac. But don't worry about your first son, Ishmael. I will take care of him and his mother. Early one morning. Because of Sarah's jealousy, it is better that you and Ishmael leave. Don't be afraid. God will watch over you. Day after day, Hagar and Ishmael wander through the burning sand. One fear pounds in Hagar's mind. Will we have enough water until we find an oasis? At least the dreaded moment comes. At last. There's no more water, Mother. I'm dying of thirst. I know, son. So am I. Lie down in the shade of the bush. Oh God, don't make me watch my child die. Dead tired and choking with thirst, Hagar turns her back on her son, Ishmael. She cannot stand to watch him die. Suddenly, she hears a voice. The angel of God says, "Lift the boy up. I will make him a great nation." Hagar starts towards her son and sees a spring of water. Water! We will not die. Ishmael, God has saved us. Knowing God is with them, Hagar and Ishmael continue their journey. They build a home in the wilderness. Years pass. Eventually, Ishmael marries an Egyptian girl and becomes the head of a great desert tribe. A father's sacrifice. Saddle the horses. Isaac and I must go on a journey. But this is a journey like no other. No one knows that it is a test of faith. God has told Abraham to sacrifice his son. Over a lifetime of faithfulness, Abraham has learned to obey God, but he does not understand the perplexing command. How could God ask such a thing? I know it's absurd, but I must believe that even if I sacrifice Isaac, God will give him back to me, somehow, even if it means raising him from the dead. Leaving the servants behind, they trek up to the mountaintop, but Isaac's curiosity grows. Something is wrong. This isn't how we usually do it. Alone on the mountaintop, Abraham and Isaac build an altar. Here's the wood, Father, but where's the animal to sacrifice? God will supply the sacrifice, my son. Suddenly, Abraham turns and binds his son. Father! If God wants me to give him my promised son, I will obey. Suddenly, Abraham hears the voice of God. Don't lay a hand on your son. I will never truly let you do such a thing. But you have proven that you are fully devoted to me. You didn't hold back, even your son. As Abraham breathes a huge sigh of relief, he spots a ram caught in a nearby bush. A ram for the sacrifice. Thank you, God. Quickly, Abraham releases Isaac and puts the ram in his place on the altar. Father, you gave me to God, and he gave me back to you. Yes, my son, it was a test of faith. Isaac, never doubt the wisdom and love of God. With joyous hearts, Abraham and Isaac give thanks to God. I swear in the name of myself that because you obeyed me, I will bless the whole world through your children. On the way home, Isaac walks ahead, and alone through his mind flash scenes of the day he can still feel the ropes that tied him on the altar. See his father's knife? Feel the joy of knowing he would not be killed. Sarah rushes out of the camp to greet them. Isaac, what happened? You left here a boy, but you have returned a man, like your father, strong and wise. From my father I learned the cost of faith, and from God I learned the reward of faith. In the years that follow, the tribe of Abraham prospers. Then one day, sad news spreads quickly through the camp. Sarah has died. A wife for Isaac. Abraham is now old and has seen many, many years. In the midst of grieving for his wife, he plans for his family's future. God has promised that my descendants will outnumber the sand in the desert, which means Isaac must start his family. But Isaac still grieves for his mother. Every day he goes alone in the wilderness to mourn for his mother. If only he had a wife to comfort him. Abraham calls his most trusted servant. Eliezer, before I die, I want to see Isaac happily married, but he must marry a woman from my own people. Go to Noar and bring back a wife for Isaac. Abraham's servants gathers a long caravan. He leads it across the desert and finally reaches the city of Noar, where Abraham's relatives live. What a big city. How will I ever find the right wife for the man who will be the chief of our tribe someday? Abraham's servant reaches Noar in the evening. He rests by the well just outside town and sees a young woman of the city coming to get water. God, let this be the test. Whoever gives water to me and my camels will be Isaac's bride. She's beautiful. Is she the one? Miss, could I please have a drink? I'll be glad to get you a drink, and I'll draw water for your camels too. She is the one. When the girl finishes watering the camels, Eliezer gives her a nose ring and gold bracelets. What is your name? Do you think there is room for me to stay in your father's house? These are beautiful. My name is Rebecca. We have plenty of room for you at our house. Just a minute. Rebecca runs to her family. When she shows them the presents, her brother Laban goes out to meet Abraham's servant. Come with me. My father has room for you in your caravan. Abraham's servant tells everyone who is and explains that God has chosen Rebekah to be the bride of Isaac, son and heir of Abraham, and her great uncle. Take Rebekah to be the wife of my uncle's son. Do it just the way the Lord has said. Early the next morning, the caravan gets ready to return to Abraham's camp. Rebekah says goodbye to her family, and the caravan begins its long journey. Days later, the caravan nears Abraham's camp. Rebekah wonders, what will Isaac be like? Tall and strong like a chief's son? I wonder if he will love me. And who is the man coming to meet us? That's Isaac. He is handsome. Is this a woman I'm going to marry? When Isaac sees Rebekah, he falls in love with her at once and takes her to his father for his blessing. They get married immediately, and the whole camp rejoices that God continues to watch over Abraham's family. Birthright stew. After a long and happy life, Abraham finally joins his wife in death. Isaac leads Abraham's tribe to the burial cave of Machpelah to place the body of its great chieftain beside his wife Sarah. But Isaac, like his father, has gone a long time without having any children. Rebekah is barren. We've tried every remedy known to man. Nothing has worked. Now I must pray to God and trust his promise. The Lord answers Isaac's prayers, and Rebekah becomes pregnant. But her pregnancy seems unusual. When they inquire of the Lord, he tells Rebekah that she is pregnant with twins. You will give birth to 2 nations. One will be stronger than the other, and the younger will rule the older. When Rebekah gives birth, her first son is reddish and hairy. They name him Esau. But clutching Esau's heel is Jacob, who does not want to be left behind. As the boys grow up, Isaac earns a reputation as a man who is avoiding conflict. But Isaac fails to see the conflict growing between his own 2 sons. Oh, bless you, John. Yeah, it's really great to read to your kids, nieces, nephew. Bless you. God bless you. Which one will be our ruler after Isaac? Esau is stronger, but Jacob is more clever. Esau has the birthright because he is the oldest, but I'd be surprised if Jacob doesn't do something tricky. If I were Isaac, I'd pay more attention to the competition between those 2 boys. One day, when Esau returns with fresh food from hunting, Isaac praises him. Esau is a mighty hunter. Yes, he's strong as an ox, and dumb as one too. Jacob bides his time. One morning during a hot spell, Esau sets out for a hunting trip. This is a chance Jacob has been waiting for. Esau will find game at the waterhole, miles away from here. When he gets back from the long day's hunt, he'll be tired and hungry. I'll be ready for him. Towards sundown, Jacob waits for his brother outside camp. Here he comes. And without any game, didn't he catch anything? Camp with its food is only a short distance away, but Esau is so hungry he can't wait. I'm starving. Give me some of the stew you're making. Will you trade it for your birthright for it? That's a dumb question. Is a birthright tasty, filled with savory meat? I'll take the stew. Here's the stew. Swear that your birthright is mine. I promise the birthright is yours. I'm dying of hunger. Let me eat. Here, eat all you want. Esau's birthright is mine. Someday I will inherit a double share of my father's wealth. I will rule the tribe, not Esau. But Jacob has a long time to wait. His father is still strong and powerful. And as Isaac grows older, it becomes clear that Esau is his favorite son. Jacob realizes that tricking Esau into giving him the birthright is not enough. Somehow, he must convince his father to give him the family blessing as well. For all his tricky plots, Jacob can't disobey his father. His father Isaac is the head of the family. His mother Rebekah, however, is the brains. Isaac doesn't know that Jacob has already claimed the birthright that belongs to Esau. Find my son Esau. Tell him that I must see him right away. The stolen blessing. You called me, Father? Isaac has grown old. His eyesight is failing. Now he decides it's time to give his older son the blessing that includes ruling the tribe. Yes, Esau, I am old and tired. I don't know how soon I'll die. Bring me some choice venison, and I will give you the blessing that seals your birthright. Rebekah hears what Isaac says and runs through the camp. Find Jacob. Tell him to come to my tent. Right away, hurry. Listen, Jacob, your father is getting ready to give Esau the blessing. You must get that blessing, or the birthright Esau traded you means nothing. But what can I do? Go tell your father that you are Esau. He can't see a thing anymore, and he will bless you by mistake. But my skin is smooth, and Esau is really hairy. Father will touch me and know I am not Esau. I've thought of everything. Here, put on Esau's fur robe. These skins on your arms and neck will make you feel like Esau. But what if... Do you want the birthright or not? If you do, then do as I say. If the plan fails, I'll take the blame with your father. You're right, Mother. Give me the food to take to Father. Father, I have brought you the meat you've asked for. Eat and give me your blessing. How did you hunt the food so quickly? The Lord helped me. Yes, the Lord helps those who obey. Come near me so I can make sure you are my older son before I give the blessing. It's strange. The voice sounds like Jacob, but the hands are Esau's. Are you really Esau? Yes, I am. Will he believe me? He does. God gives you the richness of the earth. Let the people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers, cursed by everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. No sooner has Isaac given the blessing that Jacob rushes out of his father's tent. Mother, the blessing is mine. What will Esau do? No matter what Esau does, the blessing is yours. Not even your father can take it back now. But while Jacob and his mother are rejoicing, Esau returns. Esau prepares the meat and takes a large tray of it to his father. Father, eat the food I have brought you and bless me. Who are you? Who am I? I'm Esau, your firstborn son. You told me to bring you some venison so that you could give me your blessing. Then who did I just bless? I've been deceived. I can't, once given, I cannot give the blessing to another. Father, bless me too. Bless me too. But Father, could you at least have another blessing for me? Only this, my son. By your sword shall you live and serve your brother, but one day you will break his yoke from your neck. Trembling with rage, Esau leaves his father's tent. I'll kill you, Jacob, for this. Stairway to heaven. Esau is going to kill Jacob. Esau is just upset. Don't tell anyone what you've heard. Find Jacob and tell him to come to me at once. Jacob has successfully stolen his brother's birthright from their father Isaac. With Esau's threat to kill Jacob ringing in her ear, a servant girl runs to Rebekah's tent. You must go away until your brother calms down. Go visit my brother Laban in Haran. I'll let you know when it's safe for you to come home. What I tell father? What will I tell him? Once again, Rebekah paves the way for her favorite son. Isaac, Esau's foreign wives are causing trouble. If only Jacob can marry a girl from my own people. Remember how your father's servant found me at father's house in Haran and brought me to you? Isaac's thoughts go back over the years to the day he first saw Rebekah. He also knows there will be trouble between the sons. He sends for Jacob. Ashamed, but frightened by Esau's anger, Jacob comes to his father. Go to your uncle Laban. Find a wife from among his family. God bless you, my son. A few hours later at the edge of the camp. Goodbye, Jacob. I'll send word when it's safe for you to come back. My father is old and I may never see him again. Esau wants to kill me. You are the only one I will be able to come back to. One punishment for their deceit is that Jacob and Rebekah never see each other again. Traveling farther and farther away from his family, Jacob is tortured by the loneliness. He especially misses his mother, who has always protected and advised him. As night approaches, Jacob collapses in weariness. That night, he dreams of a shining stairway reaching up to heaven. On the stairway, angels go up, and down as if bringing help from God. And Jacob hears God speak to him, promising to take care of him and bring him safely home again. The next morning, Jacob wakes up, still awed by his dream. Surely God is in this place, and this is the gate of heaven. Jacob realizes that the wrong he has done, but he knows that God will help him if he obeys him. Quickly, he turns a stone on end for an altar and worships God. He calls the place Bethel, which means the house of God. If God will go with me, I'll be God's man. Jacob goes on his way a stronger, nobler young man. He is eager to put behind him the dishonesty of his past, to share God's love and care. Broken trust. Jacob continues his journey. At last, he gets closer to Haran. Maybe those shepherds at the well can help me find my uncle Laban. Can you tell me how to find a chieftain Laban? Laban, sure. That flock of sheep of his. That's his daughter Rachel, with him. She's gorgeous. Quickly, Jacob rolls a stone away from the well and helps Rachel water the sheep. When he tells her who he is, she runs to find her father. That night, Laban holds a feast for his nephew Jacob. Leah, the older daughter, serves the food while Rachel, the younger daughter, listens to Jacob tell about his home and the long journey to Haran. A month later, Laban makes a bargain with Jacob. Well, enough freeloading. If you start working for me, I'll pay you what's your price. I'm in love with Rachel. I will work for you for 7 years if I can marry her. I guess better than a complete stranger. I've worked for 7 years. Now give me my Rachel for my wife. You have served me well, Jacob. I'll arrange a wedding feast right away. For 7 years, Jacob cares for Laban's flocks because he loves Rachel. The years fly by in what seems like just a few days. Finally, the day comes when Jacob can claim his bride. At the end of the joyful wedding feast, Laban brings his daughter to Jacob. Jacob, here's your bride. Rachel, I've waited 7 years for this moment. But in the morning daylight, Jacob discovers that Laban pulled a switch. You gave me Leah, not Rachel, for my wife. The trickster has been tricked himself. Laban has conned Jacob the same way Jacob conned father and Esau. I couldn't very well give my younger daughter away before my older daughter was married. You may have cheated your older brother out of his birthright, but that's not how we do things here. But Rachel is the one I love. I worked 7 years for her. Tell you what, promise to work for me for another 7 years, and you can marry Rachel next week. For Rachel, I'll do it. Laban tricked me, Rachel. I love you, and I'll work 7 more years so I can marry you. I do love you, Jacob. I want to marry you too. Laban's Laban. So Jacob marries Rachel and begins another 7 years of work in Laban, but God blesses Jacob and makes him rich with his own flocks. One day, Jacob calls his wives together. Have you noticed that your father keeps scowling at me, even while he's cheating me? I think it's time to go. God is telling me to return home. Jacob loads everything on the camels and heads his flocks together. Soon the caravan is on its way. Laban may follow, so keep watch and tell me if you see him coming. As they travel, Jacob guards the camel carrying Rachel and her only son, Joseph. Jacob's other 10 sons watch with jealous eyes without realizing it. Jacob sows seeds of trouble for the son he loves best. Several days after leaving Laban. Look, riders, Laban and his men, quick, tell Jacob. Jacob is ready when his father-in-law arrives. Jacob, why did you leave without giving me a chance to say goodbye? I was afraid you might have kept your daughters from going. Well, you're probably right, but the God of your fathers has told me not to hurt you. Laban is furious, but he doesn't dare go against Jacob's God. So Laban and Jacob set up a pile of stones to mark a border and make an agreement to go their separate ways. You stay on your side, and I'll stay on mine. Touched by an angel. Eagerly, Jacob continues his journey home. On the way, he has a wonderful vision. An army of angels, the army of God, is camped beside me. The angels comfort Jacob, but as he gets closer to home, he begins to worry about his brother Esau, who once planned to murder him. Ride ahead of me and look for Esau. Tell him I'm coming home with my family and flocks. Tell him I hope he will forgive me. Jacob waits anxiously for the riders to come back. He remembers the time he lied to his father and stole his brother's blessing, and when Esau threatened to kill him. Finally, the scouts return. We saw Esau. He's coming to meet you with 400 men. Jacob is frightened, but he is also shrewd. He divides his caravan into 2 parts. Then he sends servants ahead with presents for Esau. If Esau attacks one group, the other can get away. And when we meet Esau, we will give him your generous gifts of goats, camels, cows, and donkeys. He will be very impressed. That night, Jacob prays, confessing his sins, admitting his fear, and asking for God's help, but still he cannot sleep. My family would be safer on the other side of the river. So in the middle of the night, Jacob moves his family. You would be safer on the other side, Rachel. I wish you would stay with us. But Jacob needs to be alone. Later that night, as he prays, he feels himself wrestling with a mysterious stranger. The struggle is fierce, but Jacob does not give up until the stranger blesses him. Your name will not be Jacob any longer. Instead, you will be Israel, which means God Wrestler. The next morning, Jacob is limping because he is hurting hip wrestling with the angel, but Jacob is happy because he knows God has blessed him. Jacob goes confidently to meet his brother Esau. Jacob, my brother, I'm happy to see you again. Esau, so glad you don't hate me anymore. Proudly, Jacob presents his family well, the ones he loves most anyway. This is my wife Rachel and my son Joseph. It's good to see my brother's family. God has really blessed you. Homecoming. After feasting together, their brothers say goodbye. Jacob heads towards his father's home in Hebron. Goodbye, Jacob, and greet my father for me. I will tell him you are doing well. Goodbye, and God bless you, Esau. Sometime later, on the way, Jacob stops at Bethel. Rachel, this stone marks the place where I saw angels coming to me from heaven. This is where God promised to take care of me. He was taking care of he can take care of more than I deserve. God has been good to us, Jacob. I pray that he will take care of our son, Joseph, and the child who is soon to be born. Later on the journey, not far from Bethlehem, Rachel's child is born. It's a boy, Master, but Rachel is dead. Oh, little Benjamin, you and your brother Joseph are all that remind me of my beloved wife. Jacob buries his treasured wife Rachel. Then he and his family continue sadly on their journey, stopping now and then to rest and feed the flocks. As they travel on, Jacob wonders. Rachel has died. My parents are old. Will I ever get my father while he is still alive? Jacob's hands tremble as he shades his eyes and looks towards the distant city of Hebron. Is that where Grandfather Isaac lives? Yes, Joseph. I pray we are not too late. He is very old. And God answered Jacob's prayers. At that sight of his old and blind father, Jacob falls to his knees. Father, I am Jacob, your son. Thank God I am with you again. Jacob, I have prayed for your return. Do you have children now? Proudly, Jacob presents his 12 sons to their grandfather Isaac. Father, this is Joseph and this is Benjamin, the sons of my beloved Rachel. Be strong, my children, and always obey God. Years later, Isaac goes to be with his God. the God of his fathers. Big dreams. When Isaac dies, Jacob takes over as head of the tribe. He settled his family in his father's land of Canaan. His sons take care of his flock of sheep. Joseph is a younger son, and he has some news for his father. Father, my brothers are not working hard today. Joseph, mind your business. Why does he have to tell father? Grow up, Joseph. Leave Joseph alone. He has good to come and tell me you all need to work harder. Jacob is especially pleased with his favorite son. He has a special coat made for Joseph. No other brother has such a fine robe. Brothers, what a fine coat. That's not fair. Why does Joseph get such a gift from father? All he does is tell on us. He gets such a reward. Unfair. Listen to this dream I've had. We were all binding bunches of grain out in the field. My bundle stood up, and your bundles all bowed down to mine. Do you think you will reign over us one day? Seriously, brother, are you mad? You think you will rule over us? Joseph has another dream and approaches his family to tell them about it. Listen up, I had another dream. And this time, the sun and the moon and all the stars were bowing down to me. What, do you think your mother and I and all your brothers will bow down to you? You are not the firstborn. Don't be silly. I'll never bow down to my little brother. Stop with your dreams, Joseph. What does this kid think he is? Could these dreams mean something? Could they be from God? Dreamer for sale. Joseph's dreams have made his brothers hate him, but his father is blind to the danger of their rage. While the older brothers are tending sheep far away in the land of Shem, Jacob sends Joseph to find them. Go check on the flocks and your brothers. Let me know how things are going. Joseph's brothers see him approaching them in the distance and talk of killing him. Here comes our brother, the dreamer. Let's kill him. Then we could throw him down a well and say animals killed him. We'll see how his dreams turn out. Brothers, let's not kill him. Let's just throw him in the well and leave him. Then I will come back for him and bring him to father. When Joseph arrives, they strip him of the robe and throw him into the dry well. They sit down to eat their supper. Look out, a caravan. Let's sell Joseph to them. We won't have to kill him, and he will be gone. He could tell his dreams to someone else. Agreed. The merchants approached the brothers who pulled Joseph up out of the well. This boy is our slave, and he talks too much. Would you like to buy him? 20 shekels and he's yours. We will buy him and take him to sell him in Egypt. We should get good money for him. Reuben was busy tending to the sheep and wasn't part of the plan to sell Joseph. Where's Joseph? What have you done? He has gone to Egypt where he can't brag of his dreams to tell us anymore. We sold him. Here's your share of the money. The brothers take Joseph's coat and rip it. They dip it in animal's blood to look like he was killed and bring it back to their father. We found this, father. Look at it. See if it belongs to your favorite son. What is this? Where's Joseph? A wild animal must have killed him. No. While Jacob mourns the death of his beloved son, Joseph is brought to auction in Egypt. Look at this strong boy. He will make a fine slave. He could even work in the king's palace. Who will bid for him? 25 shekels, 30 shekels. Sold for 30 shekels. Yes, I have made good money today. Joseph's travel to Egypt. Management crisis. Oh God, please help me. How's this in your plan? And so Jacob's favorite son becomes a slave of Potiphar, captain of the king's guard. But Joseph does not beg for pity. He puts his trust in God and holds up his head proudly. Soon, the spoiled young boy becomes a hard-working young man. Joseph has become my best slave. He doesn't act like a slave. Tell me more about him. Some traders brought him from the Khan. He's strong, intelligent too, and handsome in the right clothes. He would pass for a prince. Years pass, and Potiphar eventually makes Joseph manager of all his property. Things are better with Joseph in charge. He prays every day, asking his God to help him. But Joseph's success also leads to trouble. Potiphar's wife falls in love with a handsome young slave. One day, while Potiphar is away, Joseph, come sit beside me and tell me where you come from. Why are you here in Egypt? Thank you, but I have work to finish before Potiphar returns. Do you always have to think of Potiphar? He's my master. I won't be disloyal to him or disobey my God. No man could treat me like that and live. She waits with Joseph's robe in her hands. When Potiphar returns, she greets him with tears in his eyes and a lie on her lips. Your Hebrew slave tried to kiss me. I screamed and he left, but he dropped his robe. Here, see it? I'll throw him in prison for this. Look who he have coming to join us in such fancy clothes. When he's been here as long as I have, he'll forget what it's like to wear such nice, clean clothes. Jailhouse shock. Falsely accused, Joseph faces his first night in prison, but he is not afraid and he is not alone because God is with him. Joseph prays just as he has done every other night of his life. What God can save him? Leave him alone. He's braver than the rest of us. One long, hot day follows another. The prisoners quarrel over food, water, and the best place to sleep. One day, a fight breaks out. Stop it. Fighting won't make life any better. Even in prison, God is with Joseph. Through these trials, God is forcing Joseph to learn patience and leadership. When the keeper of the jail discovers that Joseph maintains peace in the prison, he puts Joseph in charge of the other prisoners. One day, the king's baker and butler are thrown into prison for offending the king. Both men have dreams that disturb them and come to Joseph for help. What do you think my dreams mean? In 3 days, your head will be lifted up, and Pharaoh will give you back your high position. You will be the king's butler again. And please, when my words come true, ask Pharaoh to release me from prison. I am an innocent captive. Now tell me what my dream means, like his would be nice. I'm very sorry. Your dream shows that in 3 days your head will be lifted off. You will be hanged up high by Pharaoh. Joseph's words come true. 3 days later, one man is executed and the other returns to serve the king. But the butler forgets his promise to put a good word in for Joseph. 2 years go by. One day, Pharaoh summons his butler. No wine for me today? I've had a disturbing dream, and no one in the whole kingdom can come tell me what it means. Pharaoh, I know of a Hebrew prisoner who can tell the meaning of the dreams. He explained mine. Well, what are you waiting for? The butler wastes no time having Joseph released from prison. Joseph stands before the Pharaoh of Egypt. Is it true? You can tell the meaning of dreams? I can't, but my God can. Oh, Pharaoh, tell me your dream. I saw 7 fat cows come out of the Nile River. Then I saw 7 skinny cows come and eat up the fat ones. God is warning you that there will be 7 years of good crops followed by 7 years of famine. You should appoint a wise officer to store grain during the 7 good years. Then there will be food for everyone during the 7 years of famine. Who is wiser than you, since God is with you? Pharaoh quickly calls the officers of his court as they watch. He puts on his own ring on Joseph's finger. I have put you in charge of all of Egypt. As my second in command, only I, Pharaoh, will be greater than you. Pharaoh's men. In a single moment, Pharaoh elevates Joseph from prisoner to prime minister. From the throne room, Joseph goes outside and kneels in prayer, thanking God for his protection and guidance. Joseph orders the people to start preparing for the famine. He becomes famous, and everyone rejoices when he marries the beautiful daughter of the priest of On. I am proud to be your wife, Joseph. You have done so much for our people. There's still a lot to do. The good years will pass quickly. All too soon, the bad years begin. As the famine continues, people come from other countries that have run out of food. Only Egypt, warned by God, has stores of grain. People from every country come to Egypt, hoping to buy some of the extra food. One day, tribesmen from Canaan enter Joseph's city. In order to buy grain, they appeared before the governor of Egypt. Then, just as Joseph dreamed many years before, they bowed before him. My brothers, they do not recognize me after all these years. Since his brothers don't recognize him, Joseph wants to find out whatever they have learned. To be kind and merciful in the years since he has seen them, he decides to test them. You are spies. No, my lord, we are 10 sons of the great chieftain Jacob. He sent us to buy grain. 10 sons? How many more sons have your father have? He had 12 sons. The youngest, Benjamin, is home with our father. The other one died long ago. I still say you are spies. Guards, take him to the prison. Why should he think we are spies? I don't know, but it was strange that the governor wanted to know how many sons father had. Hours passed, then days. The brothers try to understand what has happened. Never once do they suspect their brother Joseph as the governor of Egypt. On the third day, Joseph calls for the brothers to be brought to him. You may buy grain, but to make sure you are not spies, I will hold one of you in prison until you bring your youngest brother to me. Me in prison? This must be punishment for what we did to Joseph long ago. I told you not to hurt him. Has it taken you all these years to regret the evil you did that day? Joseph thought. Simon is quickly bound and taken back to the prison as a hostage. Frightened and eager to leave Egypt, the other brothers hurried to the storehouse to buy grain. Pay me first, then I'll fill your sacks. Their grain sacks filled, the brothers leave Egypt at once. But when they get home, they discover that their sacks are filled not only with grain, but also with all their money. Why did they have money in your sacks? And where's Simon? The whole trip was very strange. The governor said we were spies. He put all of us in prison and he released everyone except Simon. Simon has to stay there until we take Benjamin to Egypt? Take Benjamin to Egypt? Never. I lost Joseph long ago. I'm not about to lose another son. I will not let you take Benjamin. But Father, what about Simon? Yes, what about Simon? And what about us? If the grain runs out and we have to go back for more, we can't go without Benjamin. The family uses the grain sparingly, but one day Jacob's hungry tribe has to face the truth. The grain is almost gone. What are we going to do? Bringing Benjamin. Jacob, the old chieftain, faces a hard decision. But why should the governor of Egypt hold Simon in prison until he sees Benjamin? What does he want with my youngest son? Nobody knows, Father, but if I don't go, Simon will die in prison and we will not starve. I have to go. Benjamin is right. Then go. But this time, take double the amount of money for grain, take gifts for the governor, and may God be merciful to us. Days later, Jacob's son leads their pack animals through the gates of the Egyptian city. Don't worry, Benjamin. We'll do everything we can to protect you. I'm not afraid. God will take care of us here, just like he does in our old fields at home. At the brothers' return, Joseph releases Simon from prison. Then he questions Judah. Is your father well? Yes, Your Excellency. And is your youngest brother? Yes, this is Benjamin. The sight of his own brother Benjamin reminds Joseph of their mother, who died when Benjamin was born. Suddenly, he cannot face his half-brother, so he turns and leaves the room. What happened? Joseph returns to the banquet hall to continue the plan to test his brothers. They are served, and the food is served, but even this is a mystery to them. Did you notice we are seated according to age? I tell you, this man knows too much about us. What is he up to? But even as they wonder, the governor has the brothers served. He gives the largest portion to Benjamin. This is a sign of great honor. Do you see that? I hope that means Benjamin is safe. The banquet ends. The next morning, the brothers buy their grain and leave. But they are hardly out of the city before a chariot overtakes them. Stop! One of you has stolen my master's silver cup. Your master's cup? We are innocent. Search us if you want to. If I find the cup in the man's whose sack is hidden in, will be punished severely. One by one, the sacks are searched. At last, the officer opens Benjamin's. The cup! I've never saw it before. It's a mistake, I tell you. He didn't steal it. My orders are to bring back the man who had the cup. You there, get in a chariot. We'll all go back with you, Benjamin. Back in the city, the governors faced the angry governor of Egypt. Did you think you could steal from me and get away with it? But I will be merciful. The one who had the cup will be my slave. The rest of you can return to your father. If Benjamin doesn't come home, our father will die of grief. Let me be your slave instead of Benjamin. For a moment, there is silence. Then the governor turns to his guards. Go, leave me alone with these men. The terrified brothers wait. Finally, Joseph speaks. I can't keep the secret any longer. I am Joseph, your brother. You sold me as a slave many years ago. God has blessed me, and now you are together again. Family reunion. Jacob's sons are shocked to realize that the governor of all of Egypt is actually their long-lost brother. Then they remember how they treated him last. Joseph, he must hate us. What will he do now? I believe it was God's will for me to come to Egypt so I could save your lives and the lives of everyone suffering from the famine. We don't deserve God's mercy, Joseph. Can you forgive us? I forgive you all years ago, but I had to be sure you had changed. When you showed your loyalty and love for Benjamin, I knew you had. Look, this famine will last 5 more years. Go home, bring our father to be near me. I will provide for all of you. Thank God for you, brother. Thank God for a brother like you. As quickly as they can, Joseph's brothers travel to bring their father their good news. Joseph waits impatiently until one day. Excellency, your father and brothers are camped in Goshen. Joseph hurries to his chariot, and races towards his father's camp. Father, my son, God has answered my prayers. Back in the city, Joseph proudly presents his father to Pharaoh, who gives Jacob the best pasture land in all of Egypt. May God bless you for your kindness to us. The end of an era. For 17 years, Jacob and his sons lived happily in Egypt. Then one day, a messenger brings sad news to Joseph. Sir, your father is very ill. He wants you and your sons to come right away. They hurry to Jacob's bedside. Bring your son to me so I can bless him before I die. May God, who has guided me all of my life, bless my grandsons. Because of the weakness of his older sons, Jacob gives the family birthright to Joseph and his sons, remembering how he was the youngest. Jacob crosses his arms when he blesses Manasseh and Ephraim. This gives the larger share to the birthright to the younger Ephraim. Then Jacob calls all his sons to him and blesses them. Jacob dies, and his sons carry the old chieftain's body back to his homeland of Canaan. After Jacob's funeral, Joseph walks away from the camp alone. His brothers watch him in his grief. Even after all these years, Joseph has closest with our father, and we have no way to comfort him. Joseph, you are the head of our tribe now. We will be your slaves if you wish it. No, you did evil, but God used it for good. For years, the sons of Jacob lived happily in Egypt. God has been good to us more than we deserve. As long as I live, I'll thank God and seek his forgiveness. When Joseph is very old, he calls his relatives to see him. God will bring you out of this land to the land he gave to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. When you return, take my body with you. I want to be buried in the land of my fathers. Soon after this, Joseph dies. All of Egypt mourns Joseph's death. But as new rulers come to the throne, they forget how Joseph and his God saved Egypt. They only notice how large the tribe of Hebrews has become. Baby in a basket. The new pharaoh in Egypt has forgotten that the Hebrews' ancestors Joseph saved Egypt from the famine. From his royal yacht on the Nile, the king frowns as he watches the Hebrew shepherds with their rich flocks. There are too many Hebrews in Egypt. If we had a war, that might turn against us. I must find a way to keep them from causing trouble. The next day, the king inspects a new building project. We need thousands more workers to get this job done. This sounds perfect. A perfect job for the Hebrews. They will work as slaves. It will save us money, and those foreigners won't be able to cause trouble. So from daylight to dark, Hebrew men and boys are driven from their homes and forced to work under whip-cracking slave drivers. But with God's blessing, the Hebrews flourish and grow stronger even under the harsh conditions. We work them harder every day. There are more Hebrews than before. The king will not be happy about this. When Pharaoh hears the report, he calls for the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. As you help the Hebrew woman give birth, I want you to kill every boy that is born, but let the girls live. The midwives fear God and do not follow Pharaoh's orders. This is against God. We cannot do this. Pharaoh discovers the midwives are not killing the baby boys and becomes angry. Why have you not done what I commanded? The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They give birth before we arrive. God is kind to the midwives, and they have families of their own. I tell you that every boy who is born to be thrown into the Nile River, but every girl shall live. The cruel orders is carried out. Hebrew mothers and fathers risk their lives to protect their sons, but the king's men never give up on their search. Night after night, Amram, a Hebrew boy from the tribe of Levi, hurries home from work, afraid that the soldiers have visited his home. Oh God, help us keep my new baby boy safe from the Egyptians. There's Miriam. The soldiers must not have come. Quickly, Abram enters the house and bolts the door. Surely God is with us. Our baby is 3 months old, and still Pharaoh's soldiers have not found him. God will help me find a way to save our son. The next day, Jochebed prepares a little basket. Keep watch, Miriam. I'm almost finished. Then, carefully avoiding the Egyptian shoulders, she takes the baskets and her tiny son to the river. His basket will float like a little boat. Keep watch over him, Miriam. Oh, my son, it tears my heart to send you away. May God watch over you and protect you. Miriam hides in the bulrushes and watches. The princess will she see the baby's basket? Look, what a strange little basket. I wonder what's inside it. The maid brings the basket to the princess, who opens it. A Hebrew baby? Listen to him cry. You have to find someone to feed and care for him. Just then, Miriam steps out of the bushes. Shall I find a Hebrew nurse for the baby? Yes, bring one to me as soon as you can. Mother, come right away. The princess has found her baby, and she wants a Hebrew nurse to care of him. God has answered my prayer, Miriam. My son shall be safe with the princess. Take this baby and care for him. If anyone asks you, send word to me at once. I'm naming him Moses because I pulled him out of the water. Prince on the run. So the Hebrew baby is returned to his own home, but now under the protection of the king's daughter. That night, Amram and Jochebed gather Moses with his sister Miriam and brother Aaron. They kneel and pray. Oh God, we thank you for saving our little son. Help us to train him to serve you. Young Moses lives in his home until he is about 4 years old. Then his mother takes him to the palace to live with the princess who adopts him. Years pass, and the boy Moses lives with the life of a young prince in Pharaoh's palace. One day, he drives through the city to a place where Hebrew slaves are working. As he watches the slaves toil, he is startled by a man's scream. Moses jumps from his chariot to investigate and finds an Egyptian guard beating a Hebrew slave. In sudden anger, Moses strikes out hard. Look, he killed the guard. The next day, Moses returns. When he sees two Hebrews fighting, he tries to stop them. Don't fight each other, idiots. Who made you a judge over us? Are you going to kill me the way you killed the Egyptian? People know I have killed a man. There's only one thing I can do, and I have to do it now. Later that day in the palace, Prince Moses killed an Egyptian guard for beating a Hebrew slave. Find the traitor and kill him. But Pharaoh's orders come too late. Moses has a head start on the soldiers who chase him. He escapes, and after a long, hard ride, he reaches the land of Midian. Tired after his flight from Pharaoh's, Moses rests by a well. Get away from here until we water our sheep. No, we were here first. You leave us alone. I think you should let the women go first. After all, that's a civilized thing to do. The cowardly shepherds retreat, and Moses helps the women water their flocks. When the women return to their camp, one of them tells her father what happened at the well. A man saved you? And you came straight home? Why didn't you ask him to dinner? I am Zipporah. My father Jethro invites you to eat with us. Moses accepts the invitation, and that night after supper, I need a shepherd, a good man I can trust. Why don't you stay with us? Thank you, I will. This will be a good place to hide from Pharaoh. A burning bush. Gershom handles his sling very well. He'll make a good shepherd like his father. Moses stays weeks and then months. He marries Zipporah, and they have 2 sons. Moses works as a shepherd for his father-in-law for 40 years. Year after year, the flocks of Jethro increase. But one year, the grasses dry up, and Moses leads his sheep to pastures near the mountain of Sinai. But even after all these years, Moses cannot forget the Hebrew people in Egypt. I wonder if Pharaoh is still alive. What has become of my sister, Miriam, and my brother Aaron? Moses wonders, too, about the Hebrew slaves, still struggling under the whips of Egyptian rulers. One day, he looks up to see a strange sight on Mount Sinai. A bush of fire? Yet it's not burning up. He steps closer and then stops. A voice from the fiery bush calls out, Moses. I'm here. Once again, Moses starts towards the bush, but the same voice warns him. Don't come any nearer. Take off your shoes, because you are standing on holy ground. I am the God of your father and the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses hides his face in fear at being addressed by the one true God. I have seen my people suffer in Egypt, and I have come down to save them. I want you to bring them out of that land. Then You will lead them to a new home, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now go, I am sending you to Pharaoh. Who am I to speak to Pharaoh of Egypt? Who am I to lead the Hebrews? I'm not a leader. I am your leader, and I am with you. Believe me that you and the Israelites will come to worship me on this very mountain. I'm not a prophet or a priest. What if they ask your name? I am who I am, and I will perform many wonders against the Egyptians. What if they don't believe me? Throw your staff on the ground. Moses' staff immediately turns into a venomous snake. He runs in terror. God calls Moses to come back. Then he tells Moses to pick up the snake. Trembling at the power of God, Moses obeys. The Lord has given Moses the power to do this miracle and 2 others, so he can make the people believe. Still, Moses is afraid. I am not a good speaker. I can't do this job. But God is tired of Moses' excuses. I made your mouth, didn't I? I can make you speak with it too, but very well. I am sending your brother Aaron to meet you. I will help you both speak. Now go. Spokesman for God. Meantime, in the slave huts of Egypt, Hebrews are crying out to God to help them. While Aaron, the brother of Moses, is praying, God speaks to him. Go into the wilderness to meet Moses. Aaron is surprised at the strange command, but unlike Moses, he obeys without complaint. He heads out alone into the wilderness. I don't even know where in the wilderness Moses is. I hope I'm going the right way. Aaron eventually winds up at Mount Sinai. Moses is waiting for him. Brother? Brother, I've been waiting for you. God told me you would come. Quickly, Moses explains that God has called them to lead the Hebrews out of the slavery in Egypt. They travel together to walk to the elders of Israel in Egypt. Moses performs the miracles God gave him, and the elders believe. Tomorrow, we will take God's message to Pharaoh. The next day. You'll do all the talking, right, Aaron? I'm just here for moral support. You're the one who knows Egyptian politics. There, he brings God's message. The Lord, the God of Israel, sent me to tell you this. Let my people go, so they can worship me in the desert. I don't know your Lord, and I certainly don't have to obey him. Now get back to work. You lazy slaves think you could tell me what to do? I'll show you who's boss. New orders from Pharaoh. We have coddled you too much. From now on, we won't be providing you with straw to make your bricks. You'll have to cut your own from the fields. And you must still make 50 bricks a day each. This was all the straw I could find. Why aren't you meeting your quota, you lazy Hebrews? You didn't make enough bricks yesterday either. I'm trying. It's not fair to ask for the same amount of bricks when we have to do it twice the work. The Hebrews' leaders complained to Moses. My God, may God punish you for this. You have made us loathsome to Pharaoh, and now he's trying to kill all of us. I'm only doing what God told me. The Israelites no longer believe Moses, and when he complains to God, God only tells him to visit Pharaoh again. Though Moses is sure Pharaoh will not listen to him, he obeys. Have you come back to beg for mercy? No, but to show you the power of our God. Aaron throws his staff to the ground, where it is transformed into a serpent. Very clever, but my magicians can do the same. See? The plagues. But while Pharaoh watches, the serpent of Aaron swallows the serpents of the Egyptians' magicians. Though disappointed, Pharaoh refuses to admit that Moses' God is more powerful than the gods of Egypt. Again, Moses asks for God's help, and again God tells him what to do. In the morning, Moses and Aaron met Pharaoh on the bank of the Nile River. Don't you have anything better to do than bother me during my morning bath? Because you won't let the Hebrews go, the river will be turned to blood. At Moses' command, Aaron strikes the water with his rod, and the water turns red. My sorcerers can do the same thing. If they're such great sorcerers, why don't you turn the Nile back into water? But this they cannot do, and the Nile remains blood for 7 days. The Egyptian women are unable to wash their clothes in the bloody river. Men have to dig wells to find drinking water. Finally, the river is clean again, but still, Pharaoh will not listen to Moses' plea, and so God sends a different plague. In the streets of the city, frogs, millions of them, everywhere, and in Egyptians' homes. My flour is ruined. Even in the palace. I can't stand these filthy creatures. Send for Moses and Aaron. Ask your God to take away your frogs, and I will let the Hebrews go. It will be as you say. But when the frogs are gone, Pharaoh breaks his promise, so God proceeds with his next wonder. God torments the Egyptians with a plague of gnats. They infest everything. The Egyptians can't get them out of their houses, their hair, even their beds. Pharaoh tries to bargain with Moses, but Moses stands firm in his request. Once again, Pharaoh promises to free the Hebrews, but when the gnats are gone, he hardens his heart again. As if the gnats weren't bad enough, God follows them with a plague of flies. Flies are in everything. The Egyptians can't keep them off of their food or off their faces, but no flies trouble the Hebrews in Goshen. Can't you worship your God here? No. Okay, you can go. But like before, Pharaoh changes his mind. Then God sends disease upon the Egyptians, animals, and livestock. Many of them die, but Pharaoh's heart is unyielding. God gives Moses his next instructions, and Aaron interrupts Pharaoh's cart and throws soot in the air. Immediately, Pharaoh and his advisors break out in painful sores, and Boils, the rest of Egypt, is struck with the same disease as well, but Pharaoh stubbornly refuses to recognize God's power and authority. Father, why were the slave drivers so cruel today? They are always cruel, son, but right now they are angry to be suffering from terrible boils, while we remain healthy and strong. Still, Pharaoh keeps the Hebrews in Egypt. So a terrible storm strikes, hailstones as big as my fist. Throughout the land, the Egyptian farmers watch the storm with terror. Our crops are ruined. But no hail falls in Goshen, where the Hebrews live. Pharaoh calls Moses to him. I have sinned. The Lord is right, and I am wrong. Pray to the Lord for us. We have had enough of all the hail. I will let you go. But just like every other time, once the plague is lifted, Pharaoh changes his mind. How long will you refuse to humble yourself? Let my people go, or I will send locusts to destroy everything that's left alive in this land. Pharaoh's advisors agree with Moses. Please, just let the Hebrews go already. Don't you realize that these plagues have left Egypt in ruins? Already, it'll take us years to recover from them. Begrudgingly, Pharaoh calls Moses back to him. Fine, go worship your Lord. Who are you planning on taking? We will take our young and our old, our sons and our daughters, our flocks and herds. No, just the men. Locusts it is. God sends locusts, which devour anything that wasn't destroyed by the hailstorm. Then when Pharaoh's heart remains hardened against the Israelites, God makes the day as dark as night. The final plague. After 3 days of darkness, Pharaoh calls for Moses and Aaron again. Fine. You may take your women and children, but your sheep and cattle must remain in Egypt. No. We won't leave a single hoof behind when we go. Then you'll all stay right where you are. Get out of my sight. If I see your face again, you will die. But Moses is no longer afraid of Pharaoh. That's what you say. Here's what the Lord says. Tonight, every first son in Egypt will die, including yours. O Pharaoh, you will know grief worse than any Egyptian has ever experienced. And then you will come to me on your hands and knees, and you will beg for my people to leave." Quickly, Moses calls for a meeting of the Hebrew leaders. "God told me that the angel of death will strike Egypt and take the firstborn of every family." Firstborn of every family? Moses instructs the Hebrews on how to protect their families. "Surely this will bring our release from slavery. Why are you putting lamb bloods on the doorpost?" God told Moses it would be a sign to let the angel of death know to pass over our house. 9 times Pharaoh has broken his promise to let us go. What will he do this time? That evening, every Hebrew family packs all their possessions, hoping that they will finally be able to leave Egypt. They eat a meal called the Passover because the angel of death will pass over their homes. Just before midnight. What is it? I have no idea. What is it, Mommy? Is it God's destroyer come away from the window? No. Help. Then, at the stroke of midnight, the Lord strikes down all the firstborns of Egypt. But every Hebrew house with lamb's blood on the door, it passed over. God will give us the signal to leave at any moment now. We must be prepared to leave at a moment's notice. In the palace, "Your son is dead, O Pharaoh. And messengers bring word that the firstborn of every Egyptian home has died suddenly tonight." My son? Summon Moses and Aaron to come immediately. It's too late. My son is dead. This time, Pharaoh does not bargain about cattle or sheep. "Take your people, take your cattle, and get out of Egypt. Serve your God as you wish." Moses gives the order to march. Immediately, slaves rush out from their home and meet at the camp and country. "We're free. We're free. Thank God my children will not be slaves in Egypt." 20,000 Egyptians under the sea. The next day, the great exodus from Egypt is underway. Joyfully, the Hebrews march toward the land God promised would be their home. During the day, a bright cloud guides them. And at night, a pillar of fire leads them. In their rush for freedom, they do not forget to take with them the body of their ancestor Joseph. Joseph knew God would be with us. He was a great man in Egypt, but wanted to be buried in his own land. Our people promised to carry Joseph out of Egypt. After several days of travel, the Hebrews reached the Red Sea. The sea is in front of us. There are mountains all around. What will we do now? What was Moses thinking to lead us here? Meanwhile, back in Pharaoh's palace, it was a mistake to let those Hebrew slaves go. Who'll do our work for us now? It's not too late. Look. They're wandering around like lost sheep. The route they took will lead them into this trap. So much for their brilliant, powerful God. Muster every chariot in my army. Those slaves will soon be back at work, more bricks than ever. Pharaoh commands that every single chariot and soldier pursue the Hebrews in the desert towards the Red Sea. Pharaoh's army soon approaches the camp of the Hebrews. Look, here comes the Egyptian army. We can't escape now. It's your fault, Moses. We're trapped. There were no graves in Egypt, so you had to bring us to the desert to die. Pharaoh and his army look at the Hebrew camp beside the Red Sea. Trapped, just as I said. Good. They'll soon see who's mightier, Pharaoh or the God they worship. At the same time in the Hebrew camp, I'd rather be an Egyptian slave than die this way. Don't be afraid. After today, you will never see these Egyptians again. The Lord will fight on our behalf. Just be still and see what God is going to do. As Moses speaks, the cloud that leads them moves back to the camp. What is happening? Look, the cloud is hiding us from the Egyptians. Then Moses holds out his staff towards the Red Sea, as God told him to do. A strong east wind blows all night and rolls back the waters of the sea. And by the sight of the Hebrews rush thankfully across the path in the sea. It's not until the next morning that the cloud clears from in front of the Egyptians. When Pharaoh sees that the Hebrews are getting away, he orders all his troops to chase after them. As the army races across the seafloor, the sand clogs their chariot wheels. As God commands him, Moses puts out his hand again. Suddenly, the wind dies and the waters roll back into place. All of Pharaoh's men are caught in the rushing sea. Safe on the other side of the Hebrews, look back. God has saved us. I'll never doubt again that God sent Moses to save us from the Egyptians. Joyfully, the Hebrews celebrate God's deliverance. The tribes descended from Jacob, Israel, are a free people, ready to form a new nation. Miriam, Moses' sister, takes a tambourine and leads all the women in songs and celebration. The Lord is my strength and song. He is my salvation. Sing praises to the Holy One. Praise God. Sing to the Lord on high. He has saved us all. The complaining begins. From the Red Sea, the Israelites march across the desert, but days after travel, they forget that God has done for them, and they begin to complain. I'm thirsty. 3 days and no water in sight. At last, they find a spring, but it's bitter. I can't drink this. Well, I'll die of thirst. The people complain to Moses while he is sitting as a judge. Moses prays to God for help, and God points out a nearby branch. Moses throws it into the spring. Now taste the water. Know the power of God. It's clean now. God has saved us again. Now I know God is guiding Moses. The people continue their journey as they travel across the hot sands. Their thoughts are of the homeland God promised them. They dream of green fields, fresh streams, great flocks. But there is no food in the desert. The people grow hungry. They forget that God cared for them when they were thirsty. Angrily, they go to Moses and Aaron. Look, our food is gone. How can we feed our children? The Lord should have just killed us in Egypt. There he had pots of meat. All the meat we could eat. Have you brought us out here in the wilderness to starve us to death? I am sick of your grumbling. This evening, come before the Lord. Here is God's word. You will have meat in the twilight and bread at the dawn. Eat, be filled, and know that I am the Lord. That evening, great flocks of quail dropped into the camp. Birds, thousands of them. Food enough for everyone. Moses was right. God sent the quail to feed us. God is leading us. Yes, only God could save us from starving. Never again will I doubt God's power and guidance. Early the next morning, the people are surprised to find a strange whitish covering on the ground. What is it? It looks like frost. What is it? It's food that God has sent you. Call it manna, whatever it is. God is so good to us. Gather what you need just for today. How can I be sure there will be more tomorrow? I'm going to collect as much as I can. See? I'll put this extra aside for tomorrow. No matter what happens, others will have something. No matter what, the others will have something to eat. But the next morning, it's spoiled. Moses warned us, we have to have faith that God will take care of us. On the 6th day of the week, the people gather food for that day, the Sabbath. The food kept for the Sabbath does not spoil, and no new manna appears on the ground. With renewed faith in God, the Israelites continue their journey. They travel towards Mount Sinai, where Moses was called by God to set them free from slavery. Moses sends his wife and 2 sons on ahead to visit their old home. Tell your father Jethro what God has done for our people." Further on, while the Israelites camp in a peaceful valley, fierce tribesmen watch from the hills. "This will be easy, a surprise attack. The camp is ours." Armed battle. Amalekites have attempted to ambush the Israelites, but the Israelites' sentinels see the danger. Raiders prepare for an attack. Moses calls for Joshua, son of Nun, his faithful aide. "Joshua, choose our best soldiers and fight off those raiders. I'll stand on top of the hill with the staff and God in my hand." The battle rages all day. As long as Moses keeps his hands in the air, the tide of the battle goes in favor of the Israelites. And when Moses' weary arms drop, the Israelite soldiers fall back in fear and retreat before the savage attack of the raiders. To win the fight, Moses must keep his arms raised, but Moses cannot hold up his arms all day high on the hill. Aaron and Hur are forced to hold up Moses' tired arms so the Israelites will win the battle. "Look, Moses is holding the staff of God above us." "Fight, men, we won't fail now." After a tiring day, both for the soldiers and for Moses' arms, God gives them the victory. At sunset, Joshua's men return victorious. "Here come the victors. Give your praise to God. Without his hope, we would have failed." Then Moses builds an altar and leads the people in a prayer of thanksgiving to God. Fresh from their first military victory, the Israelites eagerly push on. "Only a few weeks ago, we were slaves in Egypt. Now we are free and strong enough to defend ourselves. When we get to that promised land, we'll build a nation mightier than all of Egypt." Good advice. When they reach the wilderness at Mount Sinai, Moses sets up camp. One day, a messenger brings him good news. "Your father-in-law, Jethro, your wife, and your sons are on their way to see you." Moses goes out immediately to meet them. "I'm so glad to see you. I've heard the wonderful things God has done for you and your people." Proudly, Moses shows Jethro around the camp. As the day goes by, Jethro notices that people bring their complaints to Moses all day long. "This is remarkably inefficient. Moses, you can't serve as judge to all these people by yourself. You need to learn a thing called delegating. Find another wise man, teach them the way of the Lord, and let them judge for all of these people in your place." Moses takes his father-in-law's advice. "You're right. This gives me more time to teach my people about God." Soon after this, Moses goes up the mountain to talk with God. When he returns with his people's news for his people, "Prepare yourselves, for on the third day the Lord will come down in sight of all, the people of Mount Sinai." On the morning of the third day, thunder rolls across the sky, lightning flashes, then the sound of trumpet fills the air. "This is a signal. Leave the camp. Stay right beside me. Don't go beyond the boundaries Moses set for us." Moses says if we even touch the mountain, we'll die. God's commandments. While the people of Israel stand before Mount Sinai, God speaks from the mountain. He gives them the 10 Commandments. "I am the Lord your God. You must not worship other gods. You must not make any idols. You must not use the name of the Lord your God wrongly. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Respect your father and your mother. You must not murder. You must not cheat on your husband or wife. You must not steal. You must not lie. You must not be jealous of others' people's possession." And this, my friends, is the end of part 1. We're at our 2-hour mark. So be patient, and tomorrow I will do another live on part 2. And with that, You all have a blessed night. And don't forget, all those call upon the Lord's name will be saved. God bless you, children of God. God bless you.